Okay, guys, welcome to the Ask Us Almost Anything briefing that we've got here. Just before I introduce you to the guys, as you know, this is being streamed on Twitch, and I just thought you'd like to know there are 10,000 people watching this event today. How about that? All right then, without further ado, I will introduce you to the guys here. You've got Mod Crow, Mod DC3PO, Mod Timbo, Mod Maltair, Mod Steve W, Mod Z, Mod Osborne, Mod Raven, and Mod Liam. Give it up for them. Thank you.
I'm going to see if I need both microphones. No, that's good, that's good. So what is RuneFest without a Q&A session? So that's what we're going to do now. This is your opportunity to throw up some questions at us and fire them at our motley crew, our rabble, the bottom of the barrel that we've got for you today. So the format that we're going for is kind of a ask us almost anything. What we're going to be doing is some of the things that were in the big questions, your bonds, your Squill of Fortune, those have been answered already. So we'd really like you to kind of come up with lore questions, EOC questions, things like that, skill questions. And that's what we're going to really ask you to promote today. So the format is that we're going to grab some questions from the forums. We asked, I think it was a few weeks ago, we dredged up some questions. We're going to ask those first. They're going to be interspersed with JMod videos. Now, we don't actually know what the JMods have asked us, so they could be utterly terrible or ambush us completely. So occasionally, just so there's only two or three of those. And then after that, we'll get in the quickfire questions. We have a Portuguese gentleman, Jose, who will be jumping into the audience with his microphone, asking you questions to our panel. So first of all, introductions. We've got Mod Maltair, Mod Timbo, Mod Raven. Is it Mod Dean?
Yeah, or Mod C3DPO.
He doubles up. Mod Liam.
Hello.
And Mod Steve W?
Hi.
Or Steve Woo?
Stevu.
Stevie.
I've been called Stevu so many times today.
Okay, so I'm just going to run straight into it. Are you ready for this? Okay, guys, here we go. First question. Oh, look. Will we ever learn anything about our character's early life? Who wants that one? Go for it. Mod Raven.
Okay. The short answer is I don't think we will. The reason for this is RuneScape is a very free game. It's all about what you want to do with it. You don't have to follow a particular path. You can do things in any order. You can level up the skills appropriate to your character. So for us to define your background kind of defines your character. And I don't really think that's something that we would want to do. I think we want to leave that freedom, that creative choice up to you.
Which is often why we don't voice the player character, for example, because it's really up to you. It's your imagination. Okay, next question. Is anything on the table for the PKing community? Who wants that bad boy?
Yes, so I just came out of the PvP discussion that we were having on the second stage. There's a lot wrong in PvP at the moment. There's not many people doing it, and it's hard for them to get together because they're spread across different worlds. So we want to make it easier for them to get together. We want to make matchmaking systems that allow you guys to find other players with similar interests. We also want to tweak the combat system because right now we're really happy with how it's performing in PVM. But the experience between PVM and PvP is very, very different. PvP is all about spike damage, getting stun locked, and dying within 10 seconds. PVM's a bit more longer and thought out and more tactical. So we're basically going to be looking at a whole range of abilities and how you interact with those abilities possibly, and basically slowing down the pace of the fight and making it a little bit more like PVM, hopefully, so that you've got a little bit of time to think and react in a fight.
Awesome.
And there's a few things going on in PvP. One thing I think I can let slip is, because I did in the other presentation, so if I can't, I'm screwed, is that World Event 2 is going to have opt-in PvP in the open world. And that will come with a few nice juicy rewards as part of World Event 2. So if you are engaging with your PvP toggle on, you're going to get a better reward for it. And then hopefully that's going to expose people to the PvP scene and get them interested in, bring new life to it. We need loads more players to be PvPing if we want that PK community to come back.
Great stuff, and a crazy reveal about World Event 2 there.
Sorry.
Will players be able to register to become PMods in the future? That's from Tawa Micro Numu.
How do you say that name?
Tawa Micro Numu.
Well, that's going to be me because I look after PMods at Jagex. I suppose if you think about a way to register your interest, that's going to throw up a lot of names. Whether you had a forum thread or some sort of web form, it's going to have thousands and thousands of names on it. So I suppose the question is, is that the best way to find people? And probably not. We'd have to go through so many thousands of names to find people. I know the community management team are currently sort of restructuring at the moment. One of their priorities is looking at PMod recruitment. And I know they're quite keen to make sure that PMods reflect players more. I think we've been a little bit guilty recently of taking people from social media sites and Twitter and Facebook and things like that to be PMods. I think that's probably a good thing to do because we're now active in those areas, and so it does reflect the community in that way, but now's probably the time just to look to regular players and try and boost PMod ranks from regular players, and I know that the CM team will be doing that shortly.
Okay, so old Brett, will you be doing any future graphical updates? And just to show that this isn't a true Q&A, I'm going to answer this one. So one of the changes in policy that we're really thinking of is to move away largely from graphical reworks. They're very expensive, very time-consuming, and focus on gameplay reworks. Those things like skill reworks, if you're in the last session, you'll know that we're looking to kind of revamp skills and really kind of get that content in front of you, rather than reworking things like the dwarves, revamping cities. We're looking at revamping a skill and making the experience better for you. So we're moving just subtly into that direction. So you'll see fewer graphical updates. Where do you see RuneScape progressing to 10 years from now? That's from Cosex. So go on, let's have a little bit from each of you.
Fair enough. So in a word, I'd say diversity. At the moment, we've got RuneScape in your browser, and that's a good start. But we've got multiple platforms you'll have heard about if you're in some of the other sessions that we're looking to move to. And more than that, the RuneScape IP, I think, is very rich, very ripe for other games that are set in the same universe, other ways of exploring that.
Awesome. I counted 47 words there, but never mind. Mod Timbo.
In a phrase, I'd say sort of filling in gaps, sort of making sure that every skill is worthwhile. There's a lot of content in every single skill. Like getting to 99 is not just a prestige, but also you get something benefits. So yeah, that's why I see RuneScape in 10 years.
Grand. Mod Raven.
More player-created content, I think.
Awesome.
I'll go with.
Modine.
Might be pie in the sky, but maybe with Oculus Rift. Getting around to walk around RuneScape with Oculus Rift.
Oculus
Rift.
Rift.
So,
that is a dream.
I've been speaking about it already, but I'd like to see PvP made more a part of the game again. I want to see it being a valid way of gaining not just money from the wilderness, but also gaining XP as well, so it becomes a proper part of the sort of RuneScape life cycle for players.
I think, I want to have RuneScape in my pocket. I want to play it when I'm on the train going to work. I want it there, that accessibility. So I'll say always with you wherever you go.
Grand. Thank you very much. Okay, so here's one of the JMod videos. We really don't know what this could be, so apologies in advance.
Looking forward to it.
Hey guys, Mod Campbell here. Obviously, through September, I undertook one of the Super September challenges every week. I just wanted to know, if you had to do one for real, which one would it have been?
Okay, that was slightly muffled. But Mod Allen was asking, what September challenge or what super challenge would you do? So,
Given how many different costumes I've already been in today, I've got to say the costume assault course.
the cross-dressing challenge. That's awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else want to pop at that question?
Farmyard Rampage.
Oh, right. You'd actually go chewing into cows and
maybe
chickens, right? Okay. A reveal into more timber. Anybody else want to grab that question? One more.
I do like bananas, and I think I could do it quicker than him, so I'd go for the bananas.
He did make it look easy.
Yeah. It was on video though.
Yeah.
My video trickery.
Okay. Let's speed up our answers. Let's go for it. Let's really rattle through these. Okay. Let's do it. Will RuneScape Classic ever be reopened? Who wants that one?
Yeah, I'll take that. So obviously we have Open Classic in the past. I think we find what happens is that people go to the game, they stay there for a few minutes, they have the kind of retro trip of it, and then they actually leave and don't go back, and that's not particularly healthy for the Classic community. I think the other thing is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, there's hardly anyone left at the studio that actually knows the Classic code anymore and can actually work on it, so we wouldn't be able to offer support in that way. So the quick answer is that, never say never, because nobody can see into the future, but right here, right now, there's no plans to reopen Classic.
Okay. Is there still a possibility of players being included in content production? That's from Platypus.
Want me to take this one? Yeah, cool. We're actually looking to experiment with something else and actually potentially have a player voting system that will help you choose the updates you want to see in RuneScape, potentially block an update, almost like we did with the Prestige system, and keep that monthly. We could even use that for episodic content and let you choose the paths of the narratives to some degree. So, yeah, interesting stuff, I think, with that one.
Awesome. Okay, hopefully that excites you guys. Will the RuneScape map or world ever be scaled up?
Oh, well, I'll take that one. Obviously, as Steve said, never say never. but it's a lot of development work. There's a hell of a lot of balancing implications and design and development problems with that sort of thing. So I don't think we will ever see that soon, but I say never.
Okay, yeah, because your bank runs, I can imagine, would be changed slightly by having to run 4 times the distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Zyogi, will there be any new content coming to player-owned ports soon in the future?
Ooh, that's mine. People who have already talked to me in the course of RuneFest today will probably know that the answer is yes. Yes, there is new content coming to player-owned ports soon in the future. I will endeavour to say Q1 of next year.
I'd go one more. I'd say probably in the first month of next year. So.
Oh, very nice. I've got a new deadline.
Get going, guys.
Without saying too much about it, there will certainly be new zones, there will certainly be new crew, there will certainly be new rewards.
Fantastic. All right. Will you be adding more free-to-play quests? NXZ8. Yeah, okay. I'll grab that one, if that's all right. For me, if we do free-to-play quests, it's most likely going to be quest reworks. If I were to look at the quests that we've got at the moment in the free-to-play game, they're probably some of the most flawed, I would say, out of our quests. And they're also the ones that are the most problematic, so people get to them first. And if they're kind of churning out of the game, if people are not enjoying those quests, then they don't play the game that we all love. So the notion is that free-to-play quests may replace or reinvent. We try not to replace, we reinvent those quests, like we did with Black Knight Fortress and Death of Chivalry. Okay. So, Contrast asks, with a very dark avatar, when can we expect a full-scale launch of HTML5 into the game?
Cool, yeah, I've got this one. I won't be giving a date on this one like I did with the other. We have to basically wait for support with the other browser companies and really wait until the tech can support our game, basically. Not massively technical, but I had that assured from the tech guys in our engine team. So hopefully soon we'll keep fixing things in beta as much as we can, but we really need the support from the browser companies.
Excellent. Okay, oh dear, here we go. It's another video.
Hey guys, Mod Lewis R here, lead QA for the RuneScape QA team. So a random question. Game of Thrones, amazing series. But if you had to choose one character from Game of Thrones to actually be, who would you choose and why?
What? What? So, to give you an idea, we actually asked the JMods to ask us questions on RuneScape. That's a curveball. So anybody want to mention their favourite Game of Thrones character and who they'd like to be?
Yeah, Ned Stark. Sean Bean is awesome.
See, I was going to give a spoiler there. Game of Thrones spoiler.
Don't do it. But if that's a spoiler for anyone, it's criminal.
So that's how you see yourself as Sean Bean of The Office?
I'd like to, yeah.
Anybody else fancy that one?
I'll be Joffrey, so I can be king of everything.
Oh, you've got such a punchable face. You haven't got a punchable face. Joffrey's got a punchable.
It'd be worth it to be king of everything, to be honest.
Okay, we'll move on. Okay, Zoli Ben. Zoli Ben's asked me this a few times, I think. Will Zamorak get a free-to-play quest like Saradomin got? Anybody? Yeah, that's me then. Yeah, so I don't feel just because Saradomin got a quest that Zamorak should get one inherently. That's not how it should work. We'd be working through all of the gods doing one quest after another with them. I'm more interested in the fact that Zamorak has a story now that sounds really interesting to me. He's come out of the Battle of Lumbridge, he's been depowered, if you've seen the god hierarchy. And he's taken the standpoint that Sliske is off the stone to anybody who kills the most gods, and he's going to try to take it through subterfuge. He's trying to get it through stealth by heisting. And I can imagine him building up a heist team, a crack team with a lot of the Zamorakian followers, and trying to take back the Stone of Jazz. That, to me, is a quest I'd like to do. Hopefully you'd be interested in that too. Okay. So Triage Oven, it's a long question, but will defensive weapons ever get their respective bonuses? For example, defenders are intended to be defensive and not offensive.
I can answer this one. I think with the combat rework, with the EOC being released, we did a lot of work to make sure that there were no weapons in the game that were just awesome and that everyone would carry, and that there were a massive raft of items that were just left untouched. Arguably, we went a little bit too far on that with the removal of spec attacks, but we do want to do something to make things like defenders and shields, which aren't very much used outside of sort of big PVM monsters for those playing a tank. We want to bring them more into line with dual wielding and two-handers, which seem to be much more popular because it's all about offense. We want to make defensive weapons and those special weapons that you're all proud of owning back in the day a little bit more special.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, Who knows what this is going to be about? My Little Pony? Who knows?
Okay, so a question to the panel. You've got so much water in RuneScape, why can't we have an underwater city?
This is from a gentleman who creates environments, so he'd have to probably do it himself in his own time. So, anybody want that question? So the question is, we've got so much water in RuneScape, why don't we have an underwater city?
I think you just answered it, didn't you?
Yes.
No, I want a better answer than that.
I like your answer. If he does all the environments himself in his spare time, I will happily write quest content and puzzles for it.
Yeah. So I think if we had a kind of list, a priority list of big cities, big areas that we wanted to go to, I think we all drew them up personally and then kind of brought them all together and did a kind of weighting system. I think Prathinus would be at the top. I think that you'd have others like Upper Sandra, Acheron, the Penguin Lands. The Eastern Lands. Fossil Island. Mod Mark's been banging on about that for all time. So, so there are a number of places, but we have got underwater areas. I'd say we've possibly got it already. Pajeri 72. I was wondering if you guys can make pre-EOC come back to life with the stunning graphics and the special attacks.
Okay. Short answer is probably not. The reason we moved away from the old combat system to EOC is because EOC gave us a lot more capability to do bosses like Virago, and I don't know if you've been down in the gaming dungeon, but Barrows 2 is going on down there. Stuff like that would have been impossible with the old combat system. To actually go back to the old combat system in something like RS 07 or old school. Sorry, I said I used the wrong name. To go back and put those graphics into there would require massive amounts of engine changes, porting all our assets across sort of 5 years of time so that they worked in the past. And yeah, it's a massive undertaking, and eventually we're not really sure where the benefit would come from that.
It's also worth adding that if we did do that, we'd potentially have 3 versions of the game running and fragment the community even further, and then you have all these pockets, and there's the antagonism that comes between the parties, which we don't endorse.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Okay, explosions. Will the new skill to be released have an effect on the economy of RuneScape?
I guess the economy is my sort of thing. So the new skill will have an economic impact on the economy. Items will be leaving the game thanks to the new skill. I won't reveal any more than that, because that's down to Mark. But yeah, it will have an economic impact.
So Mod Mark is releasing more information about the new skill in the 2014 talk.
Exactly.
Okay. Are you guys done with refining EOC from Jad Pitt?
Little chipping on this one. No, we're not. I don't know if you guys are active on the forum. We're actually making some changes to the range abilities to bring them on par with their counterparts, bring them up so the thresholds do as much damage as assault and stuff like that. I'll keep looking at it as well. All the guys here are heavily involved in combat as well. We really like to hear your feedback as well, so if you've got anything today, bring it forward to us. It takes a long while to go through all the little things now that we've missed, but we will hopefully catch them all.
Fantastic. All right. Liam Gumboon, what sorts of other world events can we expect to experience?
Oh, I think that one's for me then. So, World Event 1 you'll have seen was very straightforward, straight-up duel. Second world event is, I will venture to say it's wider, it's more complex, there's more systems interacting. As Liam's mentioned, it's open world PvP.
I really hope I was meant to mention that.
It's fine. So, but that leaves us plenty of scope in future for events that are perhaps more PvE focused. The players against a massive invasion from
very
elsewhere
collaborative
or similar. Something that's perhaps a little less straight-laced, with a bit more humour in it later on. There's a great deal of scope for pitting players against each other and against the environment in ways that are globally recognised.
And once again, I think Mod Mark is releasing a lot of information on that in the next session. All right, Apan, have you had any thoughts about any future content of the Monkey Quest series, or maybe a more deep view on the Monkey God Marimbo? That's got to be you.
Well, I did pitch you that idea for a quest, which was based entirely on a pun, and I apologise in advance. But the pun was, the quest was in the jungle, because it's Marimbo's way.
Marimbo way, Marimbo way,
exactly.
Marimbo way.
So I think definitely we'll do stuff with Marimbo in future. He's a cool god. Sorry, she's a cool god. And the monkeys are suitably RuneScapian that I think we need to do more with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Colin, WASD movement. You tried it in 2007, gave it another shot yet?
I can grab this one. So yeah, WASD movement, although it feels or seems like it would be quite intuitive to move around the RuneScape world using your keyboard to control movement, we actually found when we did prototype it that we'd have to make huge changes to the game world and the level design, because a lot of the places where you walk, so you're standing in point A, you want to move to point B, you just click there, and then your avatar just magically finds its way around all of the blocking issues. Actually, when you've got the keyboard there, you find that you see gaps that you want to walk through, but you can't, because it just won't let you, and it does in a player's mind. It just feels confusing. So without redesigning the entire overworld of RuneScape, WASD is not likely.
Okay. Twoja 22. What is Zaros's race? Anyone? Okay, that's me again. First of all, I'd like to point you towards the next session. There's going to be a little treat for any Zaros fans. When I say a little treat, I mean a massive treat in which lots of things are revealed. We tried to stop him, but he's a juggernaut. So he's going to be revealing so much stuff about potential Zaros content. But we can reveal, what is interesting to me is that Zaros was born a god. And that's very different from the other gods. Oh, sorry, was originally a god. So he wasn't kind of created from an elder artifact and wasn't created by killing another god. So it makes him very different. Okay, so this is a buzz around with a difference in that there are no buzzers. What I'm going to ask our panel to do is to scream their name in a Pokemon fashion when you want to answer a question. And our gentleman with the microphone, if you come and take the microphone, will hop into the audience, hopefully not hurting any of you in the process, and grabbing your question. So thrust your arms in the air, he'll come over to you and grab your question. And what we'll do is the panel will answer them. If they answer it suitably, they will get, I think it's 10 points, is it? But for everything they do wrong, they're just rubbish, then we're going to dock marks. So it's just a little wee game that we're going to do to see who's the best. Okay, so who's got questions? Wow, that's great.
I saw a recent poll for RuneScape mobile app. Is that going ahead, and what sort of things can we expect to see?
Okay, so that's RuneScape mobile app. Is it going ahead?
Yes. I love Pokemon, yeah, I play a lot. Yeah, we're looking into the mobile app, looking at the community aspects first. We'll start with some of the smaller functions of RuneScape to make sure it's what you guys want. We've been working with the players as well to basically make sure the key features are in first. I don't think you'll be playing RuneScape straight away, though. So.
Fantastic. Good quick-fire response there. Is that right? 10 yeah. 10 points. You say 10 points. I like this mechanic. Say whether or not it's worth 10 points. Okay, next one.
What are the afterthoughts about the introduction of rune spam? Because right now I think it's sort of devalued the rune crafting skill because it's just too easy to get rune.
That's a great question. So, oh, sorry, I interrupted. So, rune spam, has it devalued rune crafting, and are we going to do anything about it?
Go on, Mr. Balancer.
Tim the Balancer, we've got a balancer here.
I think that it has certainly sped up rune crafting. I don't think that has devalued the skill at all. I think there is still value in creating your own runes. I think double natures are still actually making quite a lot of money right now. Please don't shoot me, anyone who says think that's wrong. I think that it has certainly sped it up. I wouldn't say it's devalued it. It's certainly a little bit easier than it was.
You could argue it was too slow before, perhaps.
Yeah.
It was often seen as a difficult skill to train.
Certainly.
Okay. Was that worth 10 points? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Roughly, how many people actually completed all 30 out of 30 Super September challenges?
Okay, so the question is, roughly how many people completed all 30 of the super challenges?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Sorry?
That was your content.
That was my content. I just realised I'm actually on the table to my right. I didn't realise that was going to be part of this. So in terms of the super challenge, we've seen it as a success. It's something that we would like to explore again. So we're going to use the challenges in future kind of seasonal content. So we're going to do that in the future. What I'm doing is I'm skirting around the answer, which is I don't actually know the number. But because it was definitely seen as a success, so we are going to be doing more of them. Is that worth 10 points, or do I get deduction?
I'm sorry. That's 5.
5.
It's generous.
Okay, next question.
Well, The Battle for Lumbridge is a great world event, but one of the problems I had with it was there's a huge bias directed towards Cyberdomin, because you'd have your Zerosians thinking we don't like Zamorak, and you had a lot of past history and where Zamorak's badmouthed in RuneScape in general. Will there be love for Zamorak, Bandos, and Armadale in future content? Because most of it seems to be quite focused on Zaros and Cyberdomin at the moment.
Okay.
Malta! Okay, I'll answer that in 3 parts.
You only get 10 points.
Quick fire, waffling.
The first one was that, yes, part of the mechanics of the first World Event directed the Undecided to Saradomin too much. We've fixed that for World Event 2 and for subsequent ones. Part of that bias was also that many of the players just didn't like Zamorak, or disliked Zamorak more than they disliked Saradomin, so they went to the other side, and that's the player's choice. That's not something I would seek to impede, because it's down to you. And the third part of that is there will certainly be love for Bandos and Armadillo sometime in the future, yes.
Okay. Does that mysterious answer get 10 points? Yep, 10 points. Fab. Okay.
Hi. So, mini-games, a lot of them have become somewhat dead content. What are your plans on somewhat instancing mini-games so that everyone from all the different worlds can access them at the same time?
That is a great question.
That's me, I totally said first. So yeah, as I think I've mentioned it earlier, definitely in the PvP talk, we want to bring into the game a matchmaking system to help you guys get together. And to go along with that, we're going to be plugging it into some of the existing mini-games that are sort of languishing in their participation, and also just revamp those mini-games, because a lot of them are a couple of years old, 5 years old, and they're not quite gelling with the community as they once did, because the rewards have been devalued because other rewards have come along. So whether or not that's just going to be refreshing the reward tables or actually retooling the mechanics from the ground up, things like Stealing Creation just became this nice idea of PvPers and skillers coming together. It sort of turned into a detente between skillers who just wailed on anyone that tried to kill someone. So we want to do things like that to repurpose the games and make them more relevant in today's game.
10. It's up to you. 10, yeah? 10. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi there. After the evolution of combat, hit points and prayer was turned into non-combat skills, and it was said that the combat formula was not set in stone. Have that changed since a year ago?
So, is the combat formula set in stone? Will it change? Is that right?
Yeah.
The combat level formula?
Yes. Is that combat level formula?
No, just prayer and hit points. Will that stay non-combat, or will that turn back to combat skills?
Sorry, can we have that again, just quickly? So is it stay?
Okay, so hit points and prayer was turned into non-combat skills after the evolution of combat.
Right.
Right.
Will that change, or will it stay there forever?
Okay. We've no plans to change it. So at this point, I think it's staying there forever.
Okay.
It's probably a minus 5 points.
That sounds like minus points. You're okay, 1 point or 10? Okay, 10 points. Sorry, we will work to the front in a minute.
I've got a question about the trim completionist cape. At the moment, I've got the feeling I'm playing way too much Castle Wars and not enough Soul Wars and other stuff like the Duel Arena, the 5k duelist cap requirement, I believe. And I feel like those things should also be a part of the trim completionist cape requirement.
So some things added to the trim completion cape. Are there any plans to add anything to the trim completion cape?
Make it harder to
Make
get.
it harder, sure. Yeah, if you want it.
Why not?
Why not?
Is this something you want? You would want it harder?
No.
Or more
Not necessarily harder, but a bit more balanced, because you have to play, previously you had to play 5k Castle Wars games and you never even visited Soul Wars, so you're left with 10,000 head items, but you don't have the body or the legs. So it doesn't make any sense in my opinion.
So they don't have to have completed any Soul Wars? Got like a huge number of Castle Wars games under their belt. Is there any move to balance this kind of thing?
Balance. Oh, look. Over to the balancer, guys.
Not that I know of. You need to go to Soul Wars once for you to do it for a quest. But
it's a slight difference, I think.
Yeah. the thing is, with the completionist cape, there already was a cape for finishing 5,000 games, and there was no such sort of achievement in Soul Wars. I'm sure if we ever rework Soul Wars, rework other mini games like Julie Arena again or Trouble Brewing, we will add more things to the Trim Completionist cape, should we need to, if they have achievements.
So there we go. So mini-game reworks might bring them into the Trim Completionist cape. It makes sense.
Yeah,
to add more rewards, more progression.
Because 5K Castle Wars was already an achievement.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yep. All right.
In Missing Presumed Death, we find out that gods, when they become a god, they lose the right to enter the afterlife when they die. Does this apply also to Tier 7 gods? And as a second part, why did Guthix choose to die to see his relatives, assuming he probably would have known that he wouldn't have had an afterlife?
Osborne. Yes. I'm going to remember both sets of questions now. I'm going to waffle. Damn it. So you say Tier 7. So Tier 7 is an aspect or fraction of a god. So first of all, they wouldn't go to an afterlife, mainly because they are almost like a god spell. So you're kind of dismissing them. They're going elsewhere. They're into the ever, back to the god that created them. So that's subtly different. So that would still, so it wouldn't apply to them. But with the other gods, they give up the right because they explode into energy. This is how we imagine it. You've seen this already with Guthix. That kind of explosion into energy spreads out into divination. You've seen it with Zaros. Because he was part wounded, that explosion of energy was absorbed into Zamorak. There's this kind of tether between all of them. There's all about an expulsion of energy. And that's different from any kind of mortal. You don't have that. So what we're saying is that their kind of spirit is spread out. And that is what is passing on from one god to another. That is how they're ascending. So that mortal that kills them suddenly ascends. So that's really what I'm going for. And with Guthix, he chose to die. He accepted it all. And so any kind of defenses that he had against Siliske, he accepted it because he knew it was the best for mortality. So any barriers that he had just kind of came down with that spell from the Staff of Armadale. Does that answer your question?
Yes. I've also thought that. Didn't he also say that he wanted to kind of see his family, which had all died, I think, during the quest? So it's kind of then, with the
oh no, the ultimate tragedy. So his family, I think that was more metaphorical. So it's a sense of that they had no chance to live in this world. They have likely gone to the Nuragi afterlife, which is different from the human afterlife. Oh, sorry, this afterlife on this world. He just wanted to join them in the sense that he's no longer part of mortality. So it's slightly strangely worded. I appreciate that. Okay. More questions? Jose, can we come more to the front? We've got some at the front. Is that possible?
So recently I've seen a lot of people around the Grand Exchange wearing flippers. And that was kind of old content, I remember getting them. And I remember the giant mole. And I was just thinking, could you rework the giant mole to maybe make something?
Because like, you used to get the claw, why not make like a rework of like dragon claws with mole claws or a mole hat or something?
Okay. Well, I heard Dean above everybody else, mainly because of his Pokemon name.
What?
Do you know what? I'll bow down because he is the mole master. And he'll have some really good news for you, so I'll let him have another.
Short answer, yeah. It's happening right now.
Yeah. We're currently doing it now for you.
It's been revealed, actually, in a session on the second stage, so feel free to say more if you want.
Awesome. We're reworking the giant mole. He's going to be less about running around. She's going to be less about running around trying to find her and more about actually fighting her, because that's kind of what the fight's devolved into since EOC, because the damage thresholds of her digging and running away are easily hit. And we're going to make her a little bit meaner. And
make much more use of EOC's abilities, but should make that fight quite spicy.
Well, she is aimed at sort of mid-level combat.
Is there minus points for stealing my question?
It's not on the board. But basically, if they go in there, if high levels go in there and try and trounce it, we're going to have something special up our sleeves for them as well. Basically, if you go and try and draggle her to death, she'll turn on you. So it's for mid-level combat. So.
And are we going to get flippers on our hands?
It's not something we'd considered, but hey.
Okay. More questions?
Hi there. I produced a RuneScape comedy series. It's like a comic book, but comprised entirely out of images in-game. Right now I have about 1,200 images for my entire series. What I'm asking you to do is take a look at the orb of Oculus, because right now it's kind of broken.
Okay,
Flying
so
mode.
yeah,
Is
so
there
the Orb
anything
of
being done about
Oculus. Oh, sorry, I interrupted, man. So the Orb of Oculus. Is there any plans to improve it for people who are looking to do things like you are, like in-game?
About the flying mode in particular, because the flying mode is broken. It's
So
broken.
the flyover is broken.
I'll
It's
take
been
it.
broken
Yeah,
for 3 months. And
apologies, it's been broken so long. We are currently looking at fixing it as well. Probably give you some more features as well to make it better for the machine like the video dudes out there, man. We really want to support it and give it more tools in there as well. And we're also looking at one of the cams that we use ourselves, which is really, really cool and something you've never seen before, and hopefully give that in the orb. So we are fixing it. I'll try and get it out soon. I apologize.
Great. Okay. There's plenty of questions. This is fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Are you planning to release any more skills after skill 2?
Wow, you can't wait, can you? I haven't even released the name. So anybody want that one?
Voltaire.
Oh.
I think there's certainly still space in the gameplay of RuneScape for more skills in the future. There's space for more cool things for skills to do. Obviously, at this point, we don't want to say too much or plan too much beyond skill 2, because we want to get that done and right and proper before we move on to the next.
Okay. Does it deserve 10? Yeah? Yeah, good stuff.
Hello.
Hello.
Is Elf City currently in development? And if so, when are we likely to see it?
Oh, I would have loved you to have been here an hour ago. Yeah, well, it was announced that we are looking at... Oh, sorry, Osborne. It was announced that we were... that more so now than ever before, we are getting towards releasing Griffinus. We are looking at the 200th quest to be an elf quest. Ideally, that would be a Grandmaster quest that really takes you into, effectively, Morning's End Part 3. We're also looking at things that precede that, skill updates for Griffinus, world events based on Seren. The kind of gathering up the shards and building a Seren Colossus and things like that. So I really encourage you to watch the live stream that came before this. You'll see some concept art of Seren, you'll see some concept art of the city, and I think it will probably excite you a wee bit. Okay.
Are you guys looking at introducing a feature where you can replay quests that you've already completed? Like not for, or maybe not for rewards, but just in general for the storyline.
So are we thinking of replaying quests?
Voltaire.
You've got to say it. I should. You can't just sit there going...
So, obviously, this requires going back over all the quests that exist to make sure that in each case it is safe to allow someone to play it without getting the rewards over and over and over again. I personally think there is value in doing that for some quests, not for others. It depends on how good the quest is. Some of our quests are older, some of our quests are newer and more worthy of doing that for, particularly where they've got player choice built right into the storyline. So I'd say if we were going to do that, those quests are where we'd start to do it.
I'm going to add to that. So we could also, there's the notion of doing it going forward, like, how I use that horrible phrase. So like quests in the future, making them repeatable. But the problem is we're getting to the point where quests are, we're adding voiceover, we're doing great environments, we're doing choice, it reflects on other content that you've done. There are so many things that we're adding to the kind of the production values of a quest that make it so that we might not be able to release a quest every month, which is what I'd ideally like to do. Obviously, we haven't had a quest this month. But where am I getting at? I think that's probably -5 for waffling. So what I'm saying for the future is more things like these, is it the Skull of Seeing? Skull of Seeing? Yeah. Gazing? Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Gazing, from Death of Chivalry. Will allow you to see into cutscenes that you've played before, but also looking at how we can make our quests like maybe kind of post-quest that's replayable. If I've gone through an area, what about making it a hard mode? You can go through as a hard mode version of it with a little bit of the story stripped out, so I don't have to repeat through kind of chat and cutscenes. So it's about delivering that experience the best way. Okay, is that right? Yeah.
Are there any plans on putting any more Egyptian content into the game or into any future quests?
Okay, so Egyptian content into the game. So desert content. Anyone? Osborne.
Steals all the questions.
So one of the storylines that we really want to keep going with is the desert storyline. And the desert storyline is what we consider to be the kind of Tumikinen, Elidnis, Amaskut, Icthlarin, all of this content that you're probably referring to as Egyptian. Yeah? I see. There's certainly no plans to put any kind of pyramids at the moment. I think probably most likely we'd look at reworking Agility Pyramid before we did anything like that, or Pyramid Plunder. We are looking at doing quests. I know that's not quite what you asked, but that's one of the storylines we see as an ongoing concern. We want to do Icthlar Underworld quests. We want to finally get rid of Amasket. You know, we want to bring Tumakin back together and from its many fragments. So from the storyline perspective, yes. And we have recently reworked the deserts. We'd like to get some more stuff in there, admittedly. Okay? Yeah. Just checking with my bosses, that was all right.
Okay. Is this thing on? Yep. Mod Dean, first of all, I love you. You're my favourite J-Mod. And Mod Osborne. Quests at the minute, they're like really like kind of easy at the minute. But the law's like really good. Is there any plans to like make them harder? Like Wild Gothic Sleep was probably my favourite quest because it was like, had good PVM, had good lore, and like puzzles and stuff as well. Is there any plans to like have more of that in the game?
So if I'm getting your question right, is you want the things from Wild Gothic Sleeps, that variety? Yeah. So I'm really interested in what makes people love Wild Gothic Sleeps. I'm really intrigued. I'd love to know from all of you. I really like it. I really do. But there's a lot of travelling about. There's a lot of kind of playing around with what I see as quite old RuneScape mechanics, which is kind of shuttling to the bank, not knowing where I'm meant to be going next, things like that. So in recent quests, we've kind of giving the player the ability to, you know, everything's in an enclosed situation. You know what you're doing at virtually every point, and we know when we're delivering a puzzle. It's interesting when people say Wild Gothic Sleeps, whether you guys want that kind of experience from a quest. I think we could probably deliver that. I think that a high-level piece of content that's rich in lore, that's got a variety of places to go, that really kind of takes you to a multitude of characters. I think there's really real value in that. And I think maybe we have lost sight of what people really like from Wild Gothic Sleeps. And I think that's one avenue of quest. I'm not saying it's the avenue of quest that we go through, but I think it's one avenue that we could explore. That was kind of a roundabout way of asking the question, but hopefully it gives you the sense of what we're doing. I've got minus 5 for waffling. Okay.
What happened to floor 61 of Demonheim?
So what happened to floor 61 of Demonheim?
I think we told a portion of the story of what would have happened on floor 61 in the last of the Fremennik sagas that we've produced. Moya's story was a part of that. The rest of that story remains to be told. Whether it's told on floor 61 at a later date, I potentially find unlikely, but there's certainly other avenues that we could tell you that story through, because it's a story that does need to be told.
Yeah, I think so. People still don't know what happened between Moira and Bill Rack. Want to get to floor 61, want to know what the smuggler seems to be quite mysterious, what he really is, and we do know what he or who he is. Okay, I think we've got, just checking, I think we've got time for a couple more questions. What do you reckon, a couple more questions?
Yeah, maybe 2 more?
2 more. That sounds good to me. So, 2 more questions.
Hello. I was just wondering if there are any plans of releasing untradeable rewards to maybe solo bosses that benefit specifically for the boss hunters themselves.
Okay. Is there any chance of untradeable bosses for is it high-level PVM?
Was that, sorry, just to confirm, was
necessarily
that untradeable rewards?
Medium level as well.
As drops from?
Yeah, in short, yeah, we would consider it, but of course with PVM, everyone wants to make their GP from it. If you bang on too many untradeable rewards from there, I would consider them as troll drops if I got too many of them, if I've done an 8-hour stint on a God Wars or something like that. But we need to get a good balance there. But I definitely want to explore some of those to actually get people into the boss end and potentially get one of these hardcore items that will make sort of the real upper end a must-have item for PVM. Be interesting to see.
And the Giant Mold does have an untradeable reward for PVM that will help you with farming.
Cool.
That's all I'm going to say.
It's the Wyson link, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, one more question. Let's choose well. Sorry.
Are you ever going to plan on updating the quest cape so it moves further away from being an untrimmed skill cape to being a special cape? Because like the XP is like multiple 99 equivalent.
Okay, I may have only got a portion of that. I don't know if the microphone's still working. Crazy. So it's updating the quest cape.
Yeah, so it moves away from being the equivalent of an untrimmed skill cape to being like a separate sort of skill capes because the XP required to get one is like...
Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Are you referring to the fact that I think a skill cape takes about 13 mil XP and a quest cape is about 25 mil XP, yeah? Is that about right? Forgive me if my numbers are wrong, I'm not the strongest at that. Yeah, I would love to buff it, and I'm really trying to push the guys to buff it in that sense. It does take harder to get there. I don't know if the balancer wants to interject with this one. I've been saying it since I got my own quest cape, so it is a bit biased, and I want it for my own personal reasons and gain. But
That's the best reason. That was an unfortunate -5. I was going to ask him to tally up the scores, but he seems to have given negative marks to Dean. That's how it happens. So, who won?
Currently winning is Maltaire.
So Maltaire is winning. There we go. And as we're ending, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Woo! So thank you so much for joining us for the Q&A session. The important part of this is that this isn't the end of the Q&A session. We are about on the floor. We are welcome to your questions. Please come up and talk to us, and hopefully we can reveal some stuff. All right, thank you very much.
We're back. Lee, what did you think of all that? I thought it was very interesting. I liked how they engaged with the community with asking questions about things that are going to be in the future and just questions that you want to see if they know about, and they do, and it's cool. So just to know about that stuff.
What did you hear that's excited you?
In this session?
Yeah, not just life.
I'm trying to think of the last session, that's why. In this session, I'm trying to remember. Something that really interested me was probably the fact of the world events being more, I guess, interactive and stuff like that. There's going to be more in-depth stuff. It's going to be taken with a new kind of technology, and I have some new things going in with that. So it's going to be cool to see how that's all worked.
Okay.
But
talking about cool, we're in the studio again with someone very, very cool. Mod MMG. Mark, welcome back. How's it going?
Thank you. Very good.
Is this the first time you've sat down since you were last sat down here?
This is actually the first time I've sat down since I last
Well,
sat
enjoy
down,
it.
so making the most of it.
Get yourself tucked in. How's your day been going?
It's been an awesome day. I've spent, obviously we had the big question Q&A, which I thoroughly enjoyed, perhaps spoke too much. Get excited about these things. But yeah, really just spend the rest of the time talking to the players, saying hi, and that's been, and always is, tremendously rewarding for me.
Yeah. Personal highlights, and you can't just say talking to the players, because if that's the case, was there something somebody said in particular, like an actual detail?
You know, I mean, the conversations range from everything from improvements. It's like the conversations we have, right? Lee, it's these are the improvements. These are the things I've got literally creative ideas about. What do you think? To this really, really pisses me off, and can we please do something about it? And all the conversations are just as welcome, because you know they care just about it as much about the game as we do, and it's great to get that feedback.
Speaking about the community, have you seen any Golden Gnome worthy cosplay outfits around?
Yeah, I have, and Golden Gnome worthy weaponry, and there's some serious stuff floating around here today.
I think the staff of Sarah with the GoPro camera on it is really cool. I think that's definitely worthy of
a blend of magic and high tech.
Yeah,
it's awesome, isn't it?
What's the best one you've seen, or is it that one?
You know, I mean that's a good outfit. I don't want to prejudge it. It'd be unfair. There's some tremendous outfits here today.
Can I ask you a personal question now?
Sure.
How come you park a tank outside the studio?
Because I've got a really small penis. No, you know, I just a petrol head. I like lawnmowers, fast cars, tanks.
Why you got a tank? Well, I like lawnmowers. He's got a big garden, a lot of trees, lots of roots in there. So what's the natural step up from a lawnmower? A tank? Is that what
I'm
you're
into
saying?
heavy metal. What can I say?
How does it drive?
Really well. It's yeah,
it does.
Yeah, I think you've had a good drive in it.
He took me for a drive when I visited the HQ in August, and I got to drive it. I thought I did a pretty good job for my first time ever driving a tank. I never thought I'd do that in my life, but that was pretty fun. And you said you collected, you know, antique war vehicles and stuff. And that's really awesome.
Started collecting a few, and yeah, we had a player event a few weeks back. We were driving over some fridges and safes and microwaves and
wood, anything.
The derby of destruction, a tree I think we took out.
Yeah, that was an accident though. I think we took.
It's nudged it.
So you're not crushing fridges and microwaves in your tank. What's it like being a CEO of a company like Jagex?
You know, it's awesome. It's a huge honor. Obviously, it's a big responsibility too. But yeah, I get to work with. I said it earlier today. I say it all day long. Some of the best people in the world. I get to serve the best community in the world.
You want to talk about
awesome.
squashing things with your tank again, don't you? Tone change, but it's like, yeah, it's really nice. In the back of your head, you're going,
I just want to climb over
that
something.
microwave door popped right up.
Shut it out there.
A little off topic, but also, you told me yesterday, but congratulations on your newest born.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
that's
I,
really
I
cool.
became a
Shake
dad.
hands.
Cheers.
Congratulations on
Became
that.
a dad again for the second time.
Nice.
2 weeks ago. So this is probably the most rest I've had in the last 2
There's
weeks.
a celebration of it, technically, in a little off-topic way.
May I ask, what did you have?
A little boy. His name is James. And,
that's a nice name.
He now has a big brother called Alex, who's 10 years old. So
Wow.
good
Decent,
gap.
Good gap, yeah. Solid. It means when he's older, well, when he's like 10, hey, my brother's 20.
That's right.
Exactly.
Give
And no double college
all the
funds
cool
either,
places.
so-
I mean, that sounds a bit threatening. That's not what I'm suggesting. Tell us a bit more about the tank. I mean, it's interesting. I think people want to know, what else have you crushed with your tank?
You know,
you ever like hit the neighbour's dog?
No, no animals have ever been harmed in both his adventures. No, there's always a little bit of destruction. Biggest thing I've crushed is a car. I've driven over a car, which I bought first just so I could do it. Guilt-free crushing.
Okay. Well, you've seen a lot of what has been happening downstairs, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not everybody else has. So Matt has been out again. He's been finding out what's going on. So we've got another little video from Matt. This is it. He's been around the venue. Enjoy.
So the gamers have made their way inside. They're inside RuneFest 3 right now. As you can see, there's plenty going on around me, including food stalls, very important for these hungry gamers. We're going to see live divination, we're going to see an art demo, we're going to see them playing the game, and also the gamers are going to be able to meet the makers and ask them questions about their favourite game. That's all coming up, along with loads of other stuff. Let's go and take a look. So this is live divination. We've got Jack in the booth. He's got to get light tickets. If he gets more light than dark, he wins a chip. Jack, are you ready? Let's do this. 16 seconds, 15 seconds. Come on, Jack. Pick them up. Light ones, not dark ones. Come on. I found myself a Jane, who's an environment artist. Jane, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Excellent. Now talk us through what you're doing here.
Yeah, so I'm just showing how we do environments and environment props and pieces and stuff in RuneScape. And literally, you can model anything in game, and you can start with a cube, as simple as that.
Yeah.
And from that, we sculpt, we pull faces, we cut away, and after a short period of time, we have our finished model.
Great. And you're chatting to some of the gamers today. Are they taking an interest in this process?
Yeah, definitely. They're walking into play content, play new content as well, to really for them to have a chance to see how we do it. I've enjoyed it, and we've had questions about how we do it.
Excellent. Well, the day is young. I'm sure there's a lot more questions going on there. Jane, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. We're going to do Hug a Tree Day.
Thank you very much.
Wow. So behind me, artist Chris Dawley Brown is conducting the Average Game project, where he's taking pictures of all the gamers here today at RuneFest and actually morphing all their faces into one to see what the average RuneScape player looks like.
Thank you very much.
And of course, each gamer that gets their photo taken wins one of these chips, which is a step towards completing all their quests and hopefully winning a prize. We're at my favourite place, the pub, Cerula's Bar. Let's go in and see what's going on. Now at the moment it's really quiet in here, but later on, all the questers, all the people that are enjoying RuneFest are going to come in here and have a party, which is going to be really exciting. There's a stage over here. There'll be bands, there'll be performances. A fantastic fountain here. There's a place to get the drinks, of course, really important. And there's plenty of places for people to sit down, chill, and chat about what they've been doing today.
Matt's having an absolutely great time, isn't he? He's having a jolly. Now we are joined by a player, Jikkr. Say hello.
Hello.
He said that really nicely. And you can relax. He was a little bit nervous. Maybe I was going to ask some personal questions like your mother's maiden name or your bank details, but we
or
don't.
Your password. You get my account through
passwords.
that.
So we don't need that kind of stuff. How long have you played RuneScape?
Oh, I've been playing for about 7 years now, I think.
What got you into it in the first place?
Oh, it was a friend. It was a friend. He found it through Miniclip, I think. It was quite big through Miniclip at one point. And then my friend passed on from there. And he actually stopped playing quite quickly. And I'm like, why aren't you still playing with me anymore? I was like, oh, please, come back. And I just continued. It was too much fun.
Nice. What is it about the game that makes you want to keep playing?
Definitely friends. That's why I like RuneFest at the moment as well. Just being able to put a name to a face. It's quite a nice thing to do. It's a bit different than just speaking over Skype or TeamSpeak. It's quite nice to be able to see them in person.
Cool. And how are you enjoying today?
I've been to a couple of insider sessions. I haven't been to too many. There's so much going on that you can't go to everything. And I still want to... there's a quiz coming up soon, actually. It might be starting right now.
Well, we've about 5 minutes' time.
5 minutes' time.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go and see it at some point.
We won't hold you too long.
Important question. I think this is an important question.
Go for it.
Why are you in fancy dress?
Why am I in fancy dress? Because I lack innovation. I can't make anything.
Just say this is your fancy dress.
Don't be so hard
This
on
is,
yourself.
yeah. I'm a upcoming monster.
Play it cool. Okay. So what are the things that you've enjoyed most today? What are the surprises that you've seen?
There's been a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
And once again, I haven't been to everything because there's just so much. And I'm going to have to look back at some of the VODs that are going to be on the live stream to be able to see what I've missed.
You're a fan of spoilers?
Absolutely.
You love a spoiler?
I've
I think
actually,
everyone is.
who doesn't want a little sneak peek of something that's coming up?
Someone told me a spoiler for Dark Knight Rises, and I was absolutely livid.
That's not like an end game spoiler.
Yeah, it's different if it's
No,
an
but it's
ending.
just,
I think it's a difference, yeah.
A plot.
Yeah.
A movie spoiler is completely different than a game spoiler. Game spoilers are like
course,
getting excited. Movie spoilers are like, you just did not ruin
You just
that movie
ruined
for
an
me.
hour and a half for me.
I don't even like to be told what I'm having for dinner.
Well,
upsets me. I'd rather know nothing about my
we're
life
having
and
steak.
just enter rooms knowing what is not going on.
We're having steak.
Done it again, haven't you?
Sorry.
You always cook steak.
I actually don't cook
Change
at
the
all.
menu.
Cereal.
Change the menu.
Okay.
Further in today, as time goes by, as it always does, what are you looking forward to doing? What are you looking forward to seeing?
There's a party at the end of the day, and once again, it's going to be nice to be able to mingle with everybody. So
Love that. Yeah, there's all the gaming stuff, but there's a party at the end of the day. That's what's happening.
Well, the party is always pretty good.
I heard there's no better party than a RuneScape party. So
RuneScape
I'm looking forward to
absolutely.
it.
Okay, what we're going to do now is watch another video. You mentioned a minute ago the quiz. We're going to watch a little preview now so we know what that is and what it entails.
My name's Mod Maltaire. I'm a senior game designer and the host of RuneQuiz 2013. RuneQuiz 2013 is one of our main stage feature presentations. We'll be pitting two teams of JMods against each other and against the audience. This will undoubtedly be the finest point of RuneFest 2013. This is going to be great. We're expecting challenges, we're expecting questions to tax the brains of even the best, and we're expecting humiliations galore for our JMod panel. I'm particularly excited to be hosting this panel. We've got some very sharp minds at Jagex. None of them are available, so I'm looking forward to tormenting my JMod panel. RuneQuiz is going to be a blend of your favourite panel shows with the very best of the British pub quiz. I'm champing at the bit for the chance to emulate my favourite comedy show presenters like Stephen Fry and Jeremy Kyle, and to torment my panel of JMods. The audience will be fully involved, answering questions, and voting for the JMods they feel have performed their challenges the least poorly. However, cheats will not be tolerated. Do we still have the giant cheese grater available? This year we're expecting more taxing questions, more fiendish challenges, and a props budget of over £25. I won't lie to you, this quiz is going to be tough. But look on it as an opportunity to flex your RuneScape mental muscle.
With a props budget of £25, I think we can all be quite excited that this is going to be a serious quiz. I mean, look what we got here, yeah?
Box.
80 pence. 80 pence. There'll be lots of you watching around the world thinking, 80 pence, what is that? I'll tell you, it's sort of nothing. It's less than £1. You must have heard of £1. It's probably exactly $1.
No, actually, our money's worthless, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's like a small amount. I think it's
yeah.
about $1.
It's about $1.50 for a pound.
Yeah, so 80 pence.
So
it's about
$1.
Yeah, this is an important conversation. I think everyone's learning a lot from this, aren't they?
I hope
No,
so.
probably not. So let's be quiet and we will go over to the Rune quiz. Enter if you're sat at home, pen and paper out, go. Let us know, send us a tweet, tell us how you got on. Do that, it'll be fun.
RuneFest 3.
That thing.